Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast. While individually we may be all fractured, but together we are whole as a network. It is I, your host, Kevin. As always, with me this week is none other than Sir Tyler. Tyler, how are we doing?
Aloha, everybody. Yes, I am back, and we're going to do another fun podcast. Man, I like the little South Park reference you did there.
Had to slip it in somehow. And also with us is the big boss man himself, Mr. Donnie Reese.
Am I supposed to try the Halloween thing? Greetings, Koopalings. How'd that go?
You just sound tired.
I'm tired.
Welcome to the podcast.
There you go. That's much better. That's a lot better. So thank you, everybody, for joining us each and every week and spending just a little bit of time with us. Although I guess now technically it's not a little bit of time now that we're throwing stuff at you 5 days a week as far as podcasts are concerned. But hey,
yeah.
We totally got a tweet today. I did see this. Somebody tweeted us, too many podcasts.
Too much. There's way too much, man.
So,
so
2 weeks ago was your podcasts are too long. Now, too many podcasts.
Yeah, it's okay. For the most part, though, it's been positive feedback. So we're loving that. And these podcasts are much more easily digestible now. We're able to
It's a good
get them
to have.
Yeah, so it's all good. So we hope you enjoy them and stick with us. And like we said, they're all coming to the same feed. So if there's a particular show that for some crazy reason you're not interested in, just delete it when it comes downloaded and save it for the ones you do like. But we encourage you to listen to them all. But anyway, let's jump right into it, guys. Let's do our weekly check-in. Tyler, man, what have you been playing, sir?
Oh, man. Well, I just finished it today for like the 25th time, but I did beat The Link to the Past. So hooray for me. I totally forgot how to do Ganon's Tower, and it kicked my butt left and right, and had some PTSD fighting Muldorm, which is that little worm that bounces around. You got to hit it from the tail. Yep. Now, like, I saw it, and I saw like flashbacks in the back of my head of like ominous Latin music. I'm like, oh god, can I do this? And I realized I thought
you meant Latin by like merengue or something that was playing in the back. I'm like, what were you doing?
Sure, you know. Anyways, it turned out since I had the tempered sword, I could beat it in 3 hits versus like the 6. And so it took 5 minutes versus half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I took on Aghanim and then Ganon and had a good old time with it. I really had a good time. And you guys hooked me up with a game called Pankapu, which is kind of like a mix between Shantae and... I can't think of it. It's really like a Shantae game where you get to play as a version of a ninja that has different forms.
Does she wear a bikini and dance?
He
not as good. Not as good. All right.
Okay, I was going to say he can dance, but it was a pretty good game. I didn't get too far into it. About maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Got a review of that, or a preview, I guess, on the site. I've been playing a little bit more WoW, World of Warcraft. My fiance finally started picking it up like crazy. Like, I kind of gave her a taste of the pie, and all of a sudden she took the whole darn pie, and right now she's going to look at me. She's playing World of Warcraft right now, about 5 feet away from me. And she's really liking it. Hallow's End just came out, so I think she's trying to level up so she can do that, play some Halloween events, go trick-or-treating, turn into a slime if you want to. And I guess the last thing I really tried was the Mario Odyssey demo over at GameStop. Have you guys given that a shot yet?
I have not. No, I'm kind of staying away from everything Mario until it actually drops. I did the same thing for Breath of the Wild. I saw the first E3 trailer and then watched nothing else. So I'm kind of doing a blackout for Mario as well.
Honestly, I've been tempering myself from all sorts of hype Odyssey. And for the most part, I keep hearing tidbits here and there. And it's like, I feel like it's going to be overhyped and overblown. So when we finally do get our hands on it, it's not going to feel as great as what we think it is. Kind of like the Halo effect.
Sure.
Because people told me Halo 3, back in 2008 or whatever, was like the cat's meow. Like, it's going to do all sorts of things to you and your life by playing this game. And then I played it and I was like, it's good. Didn't have the greatest time. But I played Odyssey. I played there was a desert level and you could play, what's it called? New Donk City, and got a good hand on it. I really did appreciate the 2D mechanic that they added to it. Almost felt like a Link Between Worlds. So you'll play 3D portions and do your thing, but all of a sudden you'll walk into a pipe and all of a sudden you're playing on the side of the wall of a castle, climbing up and bouncing around. And I thought that was crazy. But I mean, it worked in Link Between Worlds, so why wouldn't it work for Mario?
How's Mario feel?
for a lack of better term, lightly janky in terms of throwing his cap. The camera controls seem kind of worrisome. I'm hoping like it changes, but right now it feels like it has almost the same sensitivity as Super Mario 64 of all things.
That's like great, actually. For me, like I get excited. I've been hearing on podcasts that he's like slightly floatier. It's a noticeable effect.
I do appreciate the fact he still does the triple jump, not like crazy flying around doing anything, but he still does it. And yeah, he's really fluid versus his usual just running around like a grubby little man. He goes places. And just out of the blue, I accidentally swing my cap because that's your only method of because I couldn't figure out the punch or anything like that. You just throw your cap at stuff. And I did that to a bullet bill, and all of a sudden I'm flying around boosting into crap, and I had a good old time with it. It felt like there was a couple of moments where it was a lot more higher in the difficulty than what I was expecting. Like, to me, it's a Mario game. You jump, you do stuff, but no, they really ramp up the difficulty. I actually died on the level. It was kind of embarrassing. And then once I realized I had to start the whole thing over, I kind of felt discouraged and stopped playing. Oh, well. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm hoping I can see a little bit more content before the 27th, but we'll see until then.
It's coming up quick. It's coming up quick. So for me, I'm not going to dive too much into most of this stuff because it's a rehash of what I've been saying week after week. Destiny 2, Stardew Valley, Golf Story. But the last thing I have, and it's funny you brought up Shantae, is I'm also reviewing a game from Wayfair called Mystic Bell. And this plays... it's similar Metroidvania style, kind of like Shantae is, where basically you're a witch in like a Hogwarts type environment. You've been accused of tampering with some potions and stuff like that, and you have to clear your name. Not too far into it. I'm hoping to stream some tomorrow morning if time allows. But it seems pretty fun. Similar art style as Shantae, so it's like the cartoony anime kind of look going for it. There's no bubble baths or dancing yet, Donnie. Sorry to disappoint you, but like I said, I'm early on. It may be coming. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll be reviewing it hopefully by the end of this week, maybe. But like I said, I barely started, but yeah, so far so good. Interesting. Should be fun.
Where are you in Golf Story?
I am on the third golf course.
Okay.
I think.
So not too terribly far. Okay. I heard your comments about Golf Story. I'm interested into tearing them down a bit, but I'll let you play some more. Because it was interesting because you said it was repetitive, which I agree with. Repetitive is a good way to call it.
And it's a golf game, so it's kind of expected. But yeah, the control, I'm actually having a harder time controlling. I don't know if it's because of my lack of playing golf games for the most part, but I'm not. You and Jason kind of like, oh yeah, we kind of just breeze through a lot of these things. I'm not having as easy a time. It's
Are you using the controller? Are you using the triggers? All of them? All 4 of them?
No, I don't think so.
Start pressing all of the triggers and see the things that you can do. Like the right and left bumpers do top spin, backspin. The triggers control distance a little better, especially putting. It's fantastic with putting.
Better than doing the Y or the X button for that stuff.
It aids that. It makes it even easier.
Okay, like some crazy advanced play.
Yeah. It took me a while. Like Kevin and I, or Jason and I, laughed because it took us like halfway through the game before we even realized it was backspin, and the game didn't even tell us. We like stumbled upon it.
Yeah,
we were like, oh god, this whole time I could have been using it.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but I like it. It just, I don't know. It's fine. Like I'm not disappointed in my purchase. There's nothing like that.
One thing that I wanted to say, just to get my dig in. I had one dig when I was listening to you. I was like, all right. Kevin gave me grief over my Metopia review for me calling it repetitive.
Yep.
And Metopia is like 100 times more repetitive than Golf Story.
That is 100% true.
If for no other reason, Golf Story is like 13 hours. Metopia is like 30.
No, you're 100% sure. I agree with it. But I think with Metopia, I was having more fun. Not that I'm not having fun with Golf Story. It was a different type of repetitive where it felt like, because heck, Destiny 2 can be repetitive. Once you get to the end game stuff.
The problem is, it's not repetitive. When people say that in a review, the real question is, do you enjoy the loop or not? If you like the loop, you don't think it's repetitive. I'll play Hot Shots for hours, and it's the same thing over and over again. But I love the loop, so it's not repetitive. And if you hate the loop, then you think it's repetitive, and that's a personal opinion. So
totally.
How many days are you in Stardew?
Maybe about 2 weeks worth, I think, in Stardew.
Okay, because I heard that you don't really get going until you start mining, and I wanted to let you know that.
I'm not mining yet. So somebody, I forget who it was, somebody tweeted at me saying like, hey, Stardew didn't grab me either, so I actually looked up some beginner's tips and then started over, and it grabbed me right away. So I'm debating doing that before I get too far in, because the game kind of just throws you in as if you're already supposed to know what you're supposed to do. Now, yes, it's similar to Harvest Moon in those aspects. There's certain things that, like, okay, these are mainstays in these types of games, but there are actually objectives too that actually I didn't find that there was any objectives until I was in like 5 days in. I was like, oh wait, it wants me to do this for a mission and I get more coins or more whatever. And there's leveling up. Like, they don't explain any of this in the game. So it's a little bit janky as far as that's concerned, throwing you into it and being like, all right, what do I do? And I could see a lot of people, if they don't dig into it, getting really frustrated and dropping the game early on, which is probably a big no, you probably need to stick it through. But yeah,
that's what I heard. You got to really get to mining and give it it sounded like you got to give it like 10 hours, which I hate. I hate when games do that, but there are those games. It's like you have to play it for 10 hours before it really gets going.
Yeah.
My daughter down there can be really risky too.
Oh yeah.
I've watched my fiance play quite a bit of it, and there's been plenty of times where she'll just go one level too deep. All of a sudden, she's surrounded by mummies and stuff that's just messing her up, and all of a sudden, she loses a bunch of stuff after she dies, and it can be really frustrating. And that's why I was trying to recommend against you letting your daughter try it, because I was like, I mean, those mummies look vicious. Like, I've seen some nasty mummies without a fire ride; they will mess you up.
So I did buy it for my daughter. We sat down when it came out, and I was like, hey, you don't really play games anymore. This has been a constant thing for me for the last. I love playing games with my kids, and my daughter is becoming a preteen, so she's like all about her tablet and her friends and her hangouts, and she's not doing games with that anymore.
Dad, playing with you is lame.
So I was like, look, she loves Animal Crossing. Hands down her favorite game. This girl has logged over 250 hours of Animal Crossing New Leaf. She loves it. So I said to her, I was like, look, there's this game. It's kind of like that, but it's different. It's a little harder. And I let her watch a video, and she was like, I will try it. And we had a conversation. She knows what she means. She's like, I will try it. So I bought it for her, and I can happily say that I think she's like 20 hours in. She appears to be liking it. Like, she's 20 hours deep in that game. She took the Switch with her to the grandparents' cabin over the weekend. She played the whole weekend there. She says she likes it, and she's still playing it. So
awesome.
For no other reason, it was a good purchase for that. And maybe one day I'll get to it. But I hear it's like a 100-hour game, and there's not a whole lot of those that I ever actually do.
Oh, yeah. Like Kevin here was saying that he got into 2 weeks worth. I believe last I knew, Amanda was into 3 years. It goes,
is there really an end, or is it like Animal Crossing where it just keeps going?
Oh, no. There's like progress bars and all that stuff, but as far as I'm aware, there is no end. You see your grandpa once or twice, and all of a sudden you keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it ends, so.
All right, so my turn?
Yep, go ahead.
Playing Destiny 2. Talked a whole lot about it, PSVG Overtime. So if you want to hear all of my thoughts, why I'm playing it, how I'm playing it, and all that, it's over there. I did download. I did pick up NBA 2K for Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool because I waited for the physical copy. I got it and I played it. And you know what? Surprisingly, I played it last night, tweeted a picture of me playing the game while watching the first game of the season. So it was like a little Inception moment. You just like see the same game on two screens. It looks incredibly well to be playing on a portable system, to be honest with you. It is a feature complete, almost, like if you weren't looking at them side by side, you could totally play the Switch version and not feel let down.
Oh, speaking of which, before you jump into that, so I heard that there was a game-breaking bug in there.
Ooh, really?
On the Switch version only. It's called Gordon Hayward's ankle.
Oh, that is a rough thing to do.
Bad. Oh, man.
He can say that because he's from Boston, as he says, "har." But yeah, no, that was oof. I watched that last night. I was like, I was like immediately tweeting to Seth. I was like, the other thing that I've been playing, really the thing that I have been playing, honestly, more than even Destiny 2 at this point for the past week, is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition mini console. I've been playing.
Hold on. Before you. So you've been saying this on every single podcast.
Are we going to talk about the Super Nintendo Classic Entertainment System Mini Edition console?
Here's the thing. You've taken this joke entirely too far. So we make fun of you for saying SNES. Because it's not the SNES. It's the SNES.
If you're listening, Jace, I didn't say it. Kevin did.
What's wrong with calling it
the proper name? That's different. No, it's the SNES.
Kevin, the children's corner is over there. If you want to try to spell it out like it's kindergarten, go right ahead. But real men over here, as well as fine other people, see the bow tie? Here,
so
let me run the finger across it.
Got you with the bow tie.
So
SNES
how do you
actually
pronounce?
squeaked across it.
How do you pronounce Xbox and PS4 then?
Well, I pronounce it well. I mean, Xbox. I just look at the trash
Xbox is like literally how you would read it. Xbox.
No, why? Why can't you read it SNES?
What?
Because SNES is being spelt out emphatically. Why wouldn't you just pronounce it like an actual word?
Because it's not a word.
I just think
You're
it
not a
sounds
word.
it sounds better than
Not a word. You're right.
I mean,
Anyway,
Xbox isn't a word, but I don't spell it out. The XBOX.
yeah, nobody does that. That was the thing with your analogy, Kevin. It was a really bad analogy because nobody goes the XBOX. They
Well, no,
call
I
it the
was trying to
Xbox.
think you were going
That's
to be
how
like,
you would read it.
well, no, I was referring to as if you're going to call it like the Xbox, like you're actually going to pronounce the X.
What?
I was saying the letter X.
Can you try that again? I didn't catch that one.
Pronunciation of X is X.
Xbox.
Like you don't say X-ray. It's an X-ray. Like that's the pronunciation
I know.
of the letter
Alright,
X.
So PS4 wasn't PS4. PS4. PS4.
The PS4 makes your argument a little bit better.
Okay, so PS4.
So anyway, I've been playing the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Mini Edition console, and I'm going to talk all about it on this week's Nintendo Shack podcast. But what I will say is I did do a little stream, and I played Clock Tower, the original one, which I didn't even know because you guys know I'm a big Clock Tower fan. We talked about those Halloween podcasts in the past, and the first one I played was on PlayStation 1, and I loved it. And I had no idea that there was a Japanese version on Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I even found a fan hack where they translated it into English. And I was like, oh, I've got to play this. And I streamed it for about 30 minutes. I was like, I'm never playing this ever again. It was terrible. It was really slow. Like nothing really worked. I couldn't run. I was like, oh, why? I just kept dying for weird reasons. I was like, this is not, nope. I'm not doing this anymore. But I'll talk all the more about my Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Mini Edition console happenings on Nintendo Shack this week.
Holy crap! Say that 10 times fast. Jeez.
Oh, I will
too. SNES, 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 SNES,
Not me.
SNES.
I didn't say it, Chase. I didn't say it.
Hey, there we go. Now I hijacked both of their audio feeds and muted them both so that they can no longer say SNES, SNES, SNES.
SNES, SNES.
All right,
I didn't say it.
I know. I'm just messing with you. All right, enough from us, guys. It's time to check in with you all and answer some of your questions. Let's check out the messages. First one this week comes from our crew over at Board with Video Games. They want to know, what's the last board game, I'll count card games as well, that you played? Did you enjoy it? And do you see yourself playing any new ones anytime soon? Tyler, you go first.
Now, are you sure you want to count card games?
Yes, because they do.
Well, the last game I would have played would be the Pokemon trading card game. And yes, I did enjoy it. Yes, I hope so. Okay, I'll keep this a very short story. I didn't see my grandma's neighbor's child in almost 15 years. Met him at the store for the first time ever where we do all the Pokemon card stuff. And he's like, you want to play? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. And he's like, wow, really? I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? He's like, no one ever wants to face me. I'm like, why? Because I beat everybody. I'm like, oh God, what did I get into? And so I beat him and smoked him. And then that's the last time I've seen him ever since. And yes, I did have a good time.
We know what Tyler does in his free time. He goes down to the local card shop, beats up on little kids' Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I mean, my opponent's average age is about 16. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but...
It like ruins kindergartners' dreams. What, son?
Oh, okay.
Get out of my store.
I'm going to go back to my SNES.
Oh,
sorry.
Do you see yourself playing any new games anytime soon?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Munchkin has been catching my attention for quite a while now, and I saw there was actually a Rick and Morty version of it. Ooh. And I've been, I'm a pretty big Rick and Morty fan. I'm not a fancy intellectual like the meme would suggest, but I do fancy a good joke of, burping mid-sentence.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to do that. Donnie.
The last game that I've played tabletop would be Pokemon the card game. That's the one we usually play. The last board game we played was One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which was recommended to me by you guys, which we bought and we enjoyed. And we still like it. We played with the in-laws at their cabin. My in-laws just bought a cabin. So they've got no internet and whatnot up there. So we went up there.
Did you download the app for it?
Yeah. And it's weird. Like some of it's... Yeah, I've got questions about that game. I'm not necessarily sure my wife's telling me that we're playing it correctly or not.
Probably not.
I mean, I've got all kinds of questions. I'm like, but if totally somebody could open their eyes and like,
so well, yes, everyone does have to be honest. Yes.
So yeah, so there's some of that. But on the wish list, we've got is it Avalon and Catan, and then I'm kind of even trying to. I've been talking myself into maybe giving Axis and Allies or Risk a chance. Maybe the kids would get into that. My son really likes this stuff, so he's all into some board games at the moment. He loves what he calls it family game nights, and we either do it when we watch WWE or we do it like on Fridays. But he's all about. He wants all of us to sit down at the table together and play something. I mean, whether it's blackjack, poker, you know, he's way kind of into it at the moment. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. For me, the last one I played, I believe, was the Machi Koro Big City Night Lights expansion pack with the family. So we finally cracked that open. We've had the expansion for a while, having played the original game. So we finally cracked into that. Had a good time. So looking forward to diving more into that. Next game, anytime soon, yes. Because I have like 4 or 5 that are still wrapped I haven't jumped into yet. Probably the next one is a pickup I got for $3 was the Oregon Trail card game.
Nice.
It came out, it was a Target exclusive. I got it for $3. I'm like, heck yeah, even if it's terrible, I'm still going to buy it.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. They've already done another version of it, too. They got a second version out for that with more like an expansion pack. So that'll probably be the next one we play quite possibly this weekend, actually. So
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because we saw this at GameStop and I almost bought it, but it was like really expensive, and I'm glad I didn't. Well, when I mean really expensive, is much more, it was more expensive than it is on Amazon. Has anybody played this Super Mario Level Up board game? Have any idea what it is?
No, it's been on my list. I was interested in doing it. The only thing that held me back was. Yeah, first off, I don't know why GameStop is charging that much. It's supposedly like a cheap game, like 20 or 30
bucks. It's like $20, but I think GameStop, I think they were trying to get 30 out of me.
Yeah, that's crazy. It seems really simplistic reading what it is, and basically you're trying to get up to the top of the tower there to get the flag. And along the way you can bump. So I think it's just a more advanced versions of like Chutes and Ladders, if you think of it that way, just with a much cooler board. But no, I haven't played it yet, but that has been on my radar since they announced it, actually.
My son's birthday is in 2 weeks, and I you know me, I'm stashed gifts all around the house all the time, and I got him the Zelda chess set.
Oh, nice.
So actually, in recollection, that'll be the next game we play. Is I'll be trying to teach the kids how to play chess.
Awesome.
So,
good way to do it.
So, all right. So the next question we have is from Jesse. Very fitting because Tyler actually just officially reviewed this. Is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past one of the best games of all time, in your opinion? So, Tyler, you just reviewed it, so why don't you go first, man?
I like the last 3 words he added to that question. In your opinion?
Well, yeah, because it's all subjective, really. But
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Except for the fact that it is definitely not the best game of all time. Yeah, I'm just leaving it there, right there.
But would you say it's one of the best, though? Not the best. It says one of the best.
Are we talking like top 10 best or top 100 best? What are we talking about here?
I'm gonna go say top 10.
Okay, I was gonna say if you say top 100, there are a lot of Steam games out there that could raise it up fairly quickly. Top 10? No, I don't think it would be one of the top 10 best games of all time.
Fair
I think I could name 10. Now, as I said in the review, that's not to say that it's not my favorite game of all time, because it totally is. No questions asked. I mean, if I were to say it's the best game of all time to me, 100%, of course. But for everybody, in terms of novelty, or that's not even a word, I just don't think it was the best game of all time. I just really think, I know I made up a word as I
novelty
and novelty. There's not a novelty.
That's good.
I mean, come on. Let's be honest here, guys. Do you really think Link to the Past was one of the best games of all time?
Yes.
See, the nice thing is I said was, not is. Yeah, you see what I did there? I think it was in 1991 one of the best games of all time, but it got surpassed probably by 1996.
That's a really, really good argument. What I always go back to is it's really hard to appreciate anything outside of its time. Like, you honestly have to appreciate everything for the time that it came out in. You can't blame Link to the Past for not being Ocarina of Time when the technology didn't let it be Ocarina of Time. Like, there would be no Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild if Link to the Past didn't happen. So with everything considered, dude, Link to the Past is one of the most influential games ever. Like, there's so many adventure games that are made by people who are just trying to recreate the feeling and experience they had when they were younger playing that game.
And Donnie, you're totally right. It is one of the most influential games, but does that make it the best?
I think in the regard for that one, yeah, because it still holds up. That's the other thing. It hasn't Like
That's true.
It's as good as it's as great today as it was back then.
I mean,
like,
when I did play
it lost nothing.
I was 8 months old when that game came out. Obviously, I didn't play it when I was 8 months. November 1991. Now, I didn't get to play it until I was about maybe 10 years old, and I totally thought it was just as good as what I could play on my PlayStation or, you know, anything at that time era, and I really did like it. The problem is, though, I realized that there's other games that took what they did and made it better.
Sure.
You know, most obviously Zelda. Now, obviously, I pay the respects to the original, and like I said, it's the best for me, and I love it because it's my favorite game. To be fair, though, any game that you play at the age of 12 is gonna be your favorite game. Is that not necessarily true?
I don't think so, but I mean, I get the sentiment behind that statement.
Yeah, nostalgia is a funny thing. It keeps things on the list that, like you're saying, Tyler, that it would drop off over time. Because when you think back, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Mario 64 was this great, amazing game." Blah blah. To be 100% honest, I would never, ever want to go back and play that game in its original form again.
Oh no!
Ocarina of Time, I don't even want to go back and play. Like,
I still play Ocarina. It's great.
No, on the N64 version, not the 3DS version.
Yeah, I play the 3DS. I was going to say if they redid 64, yes, I would love it because I mean it's still a lot of fun to walk around that courtyard.
Totally, still. but they need to upgrade it. So for me though, Tyler, if we were saying top 10, it would probably still maybe just squeak by my top 10. If not, it'll be just below that. Because the nostalgia is so strong there. And like you said, so for me, the mechanics are sound. It was a great story. It holds up today. Yes, there are games that took the idea and made it better and ran with it. But if that didn't happen, all those other games would have never existed. So I don't know. It's it's a finicky thing, but I definitely get your point in how it can be.
I mean, the nice thing about us being a video game journalist or whatever you want the fancy title to be is everything's subjective. Like, honestly, I'm pulling this out of my butt saying that this is not the best game. Like, my heart is wrenching itself apart saying, what the heck are you saying, Tyler? You know it's true. But it's like, I also see other games. It's like, well, if I had to say which one is a better game objectively in some way, then these look better. This game looks better. This has better music to it. This one has a better plot to it. And it can surpass. I can pick 10 games with enough time that would surpass each one. But it's Link to the Past. Right. How can you dare take it down a peg? It's kind of like Donnie when he was talking about golf with friends and he had the echo in his words because he was from his high seat up there. It's like we appreciate the games to such a nostalgic level that we dare not ever try to put it down a peg. And I tried doing that this time around. And I think with the right arguments, I feel like I had some valid points to it.
No, that's definitely a good argument to make. Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, I'm not saying that, if I were to look in my closet and look at the review, it wouldn't be like 102 or something. But I mean, when it comes to professionalism, you look at it as objective as you can. Link to the Past just doesn't hold up to nowadays. It's still nice, though.
I think if Link to the Past was available on Switch right now, Virtual Console, it'd be in the top 10 Switch games.
Easily.
Only downloaded game.
I mean, on our staff list. Like, if we made a list today, if we updated that list today and Link to the Past was available on Switch for download, it'd be in the top 10 games on Switch. It'd be above Sonic Mania.
That game
it's
was
better than Sonic
Mania.
Sonic Mania was like 7th.
Yeah, it's better than Sonic Mania for sure.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like we have this argument almost all the time. Like, especially it's very good timely because we have Mario coming out next week. We always have this argument every time a new Mario comes out. What's the best Mario? And everybody's got their favorites, and usually
Super Mario World. Of course, that's without question.
It's Super Mario 3. Good sir. Super Mario
I can see 3. that. I can see that.
But then you get the 64 crowd. You get the Galaxy and the Sunshine hipsters. I mean, yeah, it's always fun to argue.
Mario
they're in bed right now, so you don't have to worry about them.
It's always fun to argue.
They're in bed. All right, so let's move on. So last question comes from Mitch. What game or games do you like that has Halloween theme or event to it? Tyler, why don't you kick off this one as well?
Sure, I love going first. Anyways, there's plenty of games out there, mostly online multiplayer, such as World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2, or my favorite game, Terraria, that have Halloween events. And so I think particularly I like Hallow's End for World of Warcraft, where you get to go around trick-or-treating, pretending you're other people and be a slime and stuff. And I really think that's a good time. In terms of theme, I probably would say Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 with Nightmare Before Christmas, because I really do like the movie. Oh, yeah, movie. And I think they do a good job with how they dress up Sora and Donald and Goofy in their respective costumes. What about you, Donnie?
Yeah. Well, when we first saw the question, I was thinking it was like Halloween, horror inspired video games. But with this type of thing, I can only steal Kevin's answer and really call Animal Crossing New Leaf, because it's really the only one that I've played. But I did watch my kids play some Minecraft Halloween stuff, like when we first got Minecraft, and I was like, that's cool. And I just did a little quick Google search to find out that they're totally doing that again this year. And you've got like a spooky Minecraft house and a player versus player mode and like a parkour mode. They have all kinds of haunted mansion Skyware map. They have all this kind of cool Halloween stuff and all the oranges and purples. I haven't played it. I don't know if it's any good. But I remember, I think Call of Duty did it last year, and I jumped in and got some cool guns and cool skins. It's neat to do it, I guess. But the only one I've really ever played was the Halloween events in Animal Crossing New Leaf, to be honest with you. Animal Crossing, after about 50 hours Animal Crossing, it turned into I'll turn it on during special events game. And I just kind of did that for like 3 years. I played it on Christmas and Halloween and New Year's and stuff like that. So
totally. Splatoon just did it too, with werewolves versus vampires.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, it's funny, Donnie, how you totally knew you were going to steal my answer too. But yeah, it's Animal Crossing. But I go back farther, so I've played all the Animal Crossings and did it all along.
You activated
my Animal Crossing goes to Wii, and that's it.
Yeah, see, I had the GameCube, the original one that we had in the US at least.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know it was on N64 in Japan, but we didn't get that. So that I think is probably my favorite. But I did also back in the day, my college days. Right? No, it was after college, right after college. Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. I would do the Halloween events for that stuff. I played a lot of Guild Wars back in the day because I was cheap and didn't want to pay monthly for World of Warcraft. Plus, Guild Wars arguably looked a little bit better graphically, but World of Warcraft had way more content. So, yeah, those would be my answers then for that. But yeah, so thank you all for sending in your questions. Reminder, you can always tweet at us at PSVG or email them into podcast@playsomevideogames.com. So without further ado, let's jump into the news of the week. Donnie, go first with your story, sir.
Switch has an update.
What?
Firmware update.
No.
Coming in hot.
I'm on fire.
Happened just now, 15 minutes before we started recording. So it's fantastic. We get to break a little news, or at least jump out of the gate. It's really fun. Version 4.0.0. So here's what you get. Hold on to your seats, right? Hold on to your butts. You get to select from 12 new Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda icons for your user account. No, all right. So I'm making fun. There are actually some really good stuff here. I think the most important one is you can now transfer user and save data to new Switch units. That's always been a thing. Everybody whines about it. That's been fixed. The thing that I'm most excited about, you can now pre-purchase games on the Nintendo eShop and have them ready for pre-download. Anybody that bought Splatoon digitally, like me, and stayed up wanting to play at midnight, like me, and could not get in for 4 hours because the servers were down.
Nightmare.
That would have been great to have for that, but they've got a lot of games coming out in the near future. So that's anybody of those Mario folks. If you're buying Mario digitally, you've just been rescued. Go ahead and get that thing pre-downloaded right now.
Mamma mia.
There you go. So they're doing software version updates, channel updates, and then the one that's grabbing headlines is that you can now capture video
kind of
on select games. So if you hold down the capture button, you can get 30 seconds of video footage, but only for the Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, and Splatoon 2 at the moment.
AKA first party games.
Yeah, so this is probably, I imagine what they're doing is that they've got this ready, and it's probably not ready to roll out to all the other devs yet, and they'll have to patch and update. So we'll probably get a lot of game patches and updates coming out hot and ready. The most interesting thing about this story is not only did it just come out, which it did, there was no warning or prep, or this is just it literally went up on their support IT website. It's just it's out now.
It's out today.
I mean, it was just they didn't even let us know it was coming. They, nobody came out and was like, yeah, we've almost fixed that. Nothing. It's just nope, done, fixed, moving on.
Yeah, the PR guy was like, oh wait, I was supposed to send something out about that a few days ago. He's like, yeah, Reggie, I totally emailed that out.
You sent that out.
I don't know why nobody's talking about it. So
you didn't get that memo?
No, Reggie, no. You forgot, didn't you? No.
My body's not ready. All right, Tyler, what do you got for news, man?
Oh, man. Well, apparently there was a glitch that was going on in Stardew Valley. I know you guys were talking about it. And apparently, if you went to bed and slept to save the game, you could actually lose your save. It would crash it for you. And they said that they were looking into it, trying to figure out what was going on with it. But they just some reason they couldn't figure out what's going on with it. And hopefully we'll find a result for that soon. But they actually offered a workaround that I guess takes like 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how long it's a weird long process, a tedious one to save without losing your save file for the Switch version of Stardew Valley. Have you guys checked that out or seen that before?
I have not seen it, but a 20-minute fix is not something.
I'm not doing that either. Yeah, Godspeed, Victoria. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you.
I know, right?
I'll lose my save. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I think it's like if you put Switch into sleep mode, it risks crashing your game. So, keep it on, keep it alive, and don't let it go to bed. Otherwise, your save will.
Sleeps with the fishes. Sleeps with the fishes.
Making Christmas.
Maybe for Christmas joke.
Wow, you guys.
What?
I only bring the best for you, Donnie boy.
I love the bow tie. Keep bringing the bow tie. That could
Bow
be
tie
your thing.
mustache.
That could be your stick.
Cool.
Yeah, curl the mustache. Do a handlebar. Anyway, so biggest news story probably of the week so far, at least. We're recording a little bit early, so unless something else is bigger drops, this is the story. EA has shut down Visceral Games. So the game developers studio behind Battlefield Hardline and more importantly, Dead Space is no more.
I think more importantly is the news, the Amy Hennig Star Wars game. Dead Space has been dead for a while.
I'll take a hike. Dead Space 4 was going to happen, so we'll have Flight 3.
Yeah. No, I think for me at least, so the Star Wars game, it's been rumored for a while that was
Not
quite
rumored.
possibly... No, that was not doing so well. They were bringing in another team to work on it, stuff like that. Like stuff like that was coming up, and then, with this, they're saying, it's dead. So it's sad, but basically now that the more we're hearing about this Star Wars game that was going to come out, that apparently now will not, was just going to be more of what we have already, like just with the Star Wars skin slapped on top of it. So I'm okay with it not coming out because I'd rather have something different and new for Star Wars.
Hang on. It was supposed to be a first-person solo adventure game, Uncharted with Star Wars. We don't have that. There's nothing like that.
We have Uncharted,
right? But we don't have Star Wars, the Uncharted game. That's
nothing like Bounty Hunt or anything like that. Rogue Squadron. No.
Why
you're whining about rock climbing? We're talking about flying ships through space, man.
No, you're not. You're talking about more rock climbing, but with a Jedi cloak.
Nobody rock climbs in Star Wars. It's not Naughty Dog, the developer. It's a former Naughty Dog writer.
Yeah, so just the story. That doesn't mean the gameplay is gonna be anything like that.
That's true. For me, I was excited. I was thinking it was gonna be like. I was under the pretense that it was gonna be something more along like Mass Effect with a Naughty Dog level caliber of story in Star Wars. Like that's kind of where I was going with the whole idea, and I was excited for the other people that were like really excited for it.
As long as it was a good Mass Effect and not the last Mass Effect.
True, but so my thing with it though is we never got to see it. Yeah. We never got to play it, so not getting it really doesn't nobody's hurt here.
Well, I mean, some people are hurt. The developers.
Some people are hurt. Well, more.
They are shifting as many people to other development studios within EA as possible.
They say that though.
Oh no, I know.
Everybody says that.
There's still people that are gonna be gone, and Amy Hennig.
There's 3 people and put them over there.
Yeah, they still know what's happening with Amy, and then we gotta remember with the Star Wars stuff.
She's leaving.
It's still just rumored what it was too. So what the actual game might have been something totally different. So we don't even know the validity of that, but. I did find it funny that Insomniac Games did tweet out that they were sorry, but they're hiring and posted their job posting on Twitter.
Sure.
So you can go work at Insomniac Games. So
Everybody does that.
Yeah. So that was fun. But yeah, for me, I mean, I wanted KOTOR again. That's what I wanted out of Star Wars. That's really what I want. So if it was that, then I'm upset. But if it's anything else, I think we kind of, I don't know, a great adventure game would be good. But I mean, it'd have to be one heck of a story.
Like,
of course.
Like that's what's tough. But yeah, I'd rather have another Dead Space. But
it sounds like so there's two things I want to say. Like, one, I think it's notable that Amy Hennig, like, she will not have shipped a game for a decade. For as much as like the Twitter and the echo chamber reminds me of who she is, we have not played a game from her since Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's not to say anything good or bad against her. I don't know if it's her fault or not. Like I have no idea like what role she plays in this, but I just think it's interesting because she's such a big name. Like everybody knows her name, and it's like there's so many other developers. Think about like all the games that Ubisoft has published in that time. Like there's so many other folks that are pushing games out that we don't know their names. That's an interesting thing. And but your KOTOR comment, it really sounds like the change that they're trying to make is maybe something more in that line or more in the Destiny line. Like it's very much we need to make more long-term money off of this idea, concept, and time that we're developing into the game. So they're trying to do some MMO, online connected shooter type stuff like Destiny or KOTOR or something, a blend of the two. So maybe folks will, it's funny because everybody was real upset about it, right? They're like, I want the other game, but everybody loves Destiny.
Yeah.
So if it's Star Wars Destiny, I think everybody.
Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Most of us love Destiny.
The thing though, with KOTOR, so yes, it had multiplayer elements, but essentially it was exactly what you were describing, Donnie. It was Mass Effect.
Right.
It was BioWare. They had stories, they had choices you can make, good or bad, that affected your gameplay for the rest of things. So I mean that already did exist. I just want it in that mindset, which it might have been. I mean, who knows? But the thing to remember with Amy, and a lot of attention has been brought to her in this, and like, we're not sure if it was her fault that it was getting canned or scrapped. Remember, she was a writer. You could have a game that might be terrible, but it has the best story on the face of the earth, and a developer publisher is not going to put it out. Also, like if the game runs janky. So I wouldn't blame or even look at her. I know you're not saying that, but a lot of people were like hinting that, maybe she doesn't have it anymore. I don't think her content for whatever the story was has anything to do with this whatsoever. It's just EA is a big conglomerate. They're looking to make more and more money. If something's just not adding up, they run by numbers. They don't run by their people. They don't run by their methodology. They don't do it for the fans. They're a big company. If they're bleeding money or it's not worth it, they're going to make the cuts. And it's terrible for all the people affected, and it's awful. But hoping that, some of these people might break off. They might go and do an indie thing, and we might get a fantastic indie title out of somebody who, instead of working on this game that's going to take 6-7 years to come out, we might get a magical little gem that takes about a year to develop in our hands on our Nintendo Switch, and next year. And so we might see some inspiration come out of these things where maybe somebody who was just a coder actually now steps up and says, well, my dream's always been to make this game, so now I'm going to go ahead and make this game instead. And that's becoming more and more common as we see with these indie developers. That maybe we'll get some good stuff out of it in the long run. Maybe we'll push some people to pursue their dreams.
The thing that I brought up is for all the documentaries and things that I've read, either in books or movies or YouTube series, it really sounds like, especially on a bigger scale project like that, like the writing team is really, really small and kind of like off on their own thing. Like they're trying to come up with a universe and whatnot, but like the game gets built first. And then they weave the story into like the characters get built, the environments get built, how they move and jump around. All of that is being built. And then the creative team is like, all right, now how do we use these assets to tell a story?
Exactly.
So I absolutely have. I really want to make it clear. I wasn't saying that with her at all.
No, I know you weren't.
Right. It's just I just find it interesting because she's such a. I remember when she like tweeted out last year about like video game like workers' rights and how like the grind is so hard, and like it was she's such a big figure.
Yep.
So I was just trying to paint some attention to that. So that's all.
Yeah, I agree. So all right, I think that wraps up for that then. So that wraps up the news of the week. So before we start wrapping up the show, guys, is there anything you want to plug, Tyler?
SNES.
I love that so much. Direct your tweets to, I don't even know your Twitter handle, 2 times Tyler.
Hey, you did it the first time. Good job. Yep. At 2 times Tyler on Twitter. You can tweet to me how you want to spell your SNES. And if you want to spell it out, go ahead. I will show you my high school diploma. So go ahead. Any other questions?
Somebody please do that so we can have him have to tweet out a picture of his high school diploma.
To make it better, I'll even draw it in crayon. That way that see if they believe it or not.
So, Tyler, is there anything you'd like to plug that you recently published to the site that's a very interesting and great article?
But of course, there's multiple. Which one are you talking about in this case, though?
All of them. Your most recent
I was
one.
going to say.
Your two most recent ones.
I was going to say, if you want to talk about the beautiful time when I got kicked out of college thanks to my gaming addiction, yes, you can check out playsomevideogames.com. Check out that nice video or article that, gives a sad story, but it's a good and smart tale that I sacrificed myself to you so that, others may understand, it's a serious problem. And I really hope that, people can understand and recognize that there's times where you just like a game but way too much that you just let it ruin your life. And obviously that happened. But on a more positive note, I talk a lot of crap about Link to the Past and a couple other games, and talk about how great and how Link to the Past deserved a very high score of 88.
Fair enough. And I do have to say that article that Tyler was referring to about the video game addiction, that is a great read. So I encourage everybody, if you have not seen it, if somehow you missed the tweets, that Donnie will line up more of them coming down the line anyway, check it out. It's a great read, and it is a very serious issue. We tackled it. I was trying to find what episode to let Tyler know when he first brought it up to me, and I couldn't find it, but it was very, very early on in PSVG. Nathan had talked about video game addiction. I think it came up as a question, if I recall.
That was my episode.
That was your episode? You were on it too, but I mean, I know Nathan was talking.
That was that episode.
Oh, that episode, please.
Yes.
Please, if you do read the article, I recommend listening to the song "In the Arms of an Angel" because I think it'd be fitting or something like that. Or we need somebody to lean on, please. One of those songs, like some super sad song, please. Air's theme from Final Fantasy VII. I don't care.
Nice.
She dies.
I forgot that was that episode, Donnie. Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay.
The secret hidden legend episode.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Donnie, what do you got?
Yep.
Nothing.
Really?
SNES.
No, I mean, not really. My mind's drawing a blank. I mean, we're going to do the Nintendo Shack. So weekly, I join Jason on Nintendo Everything podcast, and this week we're going to talk all about the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Mini Console Edition and all the fun we're having playing all the games. I'm going to go through my hacking experience. So if you're interested in any of that, I'll go to cover that. And I have a ROM that I acquired through some
highly legal and recommended means.
No, I had to track this down, and if you're a sports fan, you might like it.
Legal team talking. Jeez.
I'm going to talk about it, and if you want it, just message me, and I will Dropbox it or Google Drive it to you because it's hard to find. I could not find it. It took me like 3 days, and I had to actually message people. But I'll tell the whole tale on the Shack podcast.
We live in New Zealand.
God.
I'm excited to play Fire Emblem Warriors, which shipped. It's coming Friday, so I will be streaming that this weekend. We'll be looking forward to some of my Fire Emblem impressions very quickly.
Excellent. So, yeah, as Donnie mentioned, we got the new shows on the podcast network. I'm not going to run through them all. Just check them out, or you probably already have had them in your feed, so hopefully you'll listen to them. Please let us know your feedback. Reminders, of course, visit the website, playsomevideogames.com. Email us podcast@playsomevideogames.com, Twitter @PSVG. We got Twitch, twitch.tv/PSVG, Facebook.com/playsomevideogames, YouTube.com/playsomevideogames. And I think that's it, everybody. So until next time.
I miss Woke Seth.
You just woke Seth?
I miss Woke Seth.
Oh, yeah. You did what now?
No. On the first episode of Early Morning Gamer, Seth did something to his microphone. It sounded like he huffed helium before the podcast, so he was much higher pitched.
That's exactly right. I miss, and Kevin called him Woke Seth. That's what he nicknamed him.
That's right. Yep.
I miss Woke Seth.
Oi, Kevin. We do have a monthly episode coming up between you and me, don't we?
We do, and I believe the official name is Arcadia Academia, right?
Yeah, by popular vote, which yeah. But, hey, this is what they wanted, so give it to them.
That's true. So the premise of this show, which we'll be recording, I believe, next week.
Yeah, in about a week. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure out the timing there. But it's going to be a once-a-month show, and basically what we're doing, I don't think we talked about this too much, is every month we'll be taking a certain game that has some sort of nostalgic element retro element, if you will, kind of dissecting it, giving you some history. Most of these games will have an interesting backstory to them or a developmental story or some quirks about that game. And then we'll talk about our experience as we revisited them and played it through again. And our first one, do you want to spoil it?
Yeah, go ahead. Spoil away, my friend.
Child?
I'm sorry. SNES. I was thinking SNES.
Okay, fair enough. Our first one is going to be the N64 Classic. Classic.
I'm sorry, I was purring. You were going?
Okay. Pokemon Snap. And you might be saying, why the heck are you guys playing that?
The Pokemon SNAP?
Yes, SNAP. You'll have to tune in to find out why we're going to talk about this one, because it does have some interesting things to it. So it works. So I guess whether you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're playing your PS4 or Xbox or your SNES,
you need to get that checked, man.
Most importantly, that you never stop gaming.